Thokozani, I am Dimu, the advocate of Idlozi, and I welcome you once again to my channel. Thank you so much for choosing to view my video. We'll be talking about spiritual growth yet again, but this is the part 2 video because class continues no matter what. Okay, so we keep it moving just like that. So from my previous video of spiritual growth, I reiterated on a lot of important things, and I think on this, I just want, for us to wrap a few things up so that at least we can move forward, just like I always do in my other videos. We wrap things up and we move forward, but I think now we're going into the practicality of things and tackling sometimes why do not things make sense, or why is it a problem to move forward spiritually, because sometimes spiritual growth is easier said than done. And I've been there myself, and I know what lies behind izinto, especially when it comes to spirituality. So one thing that is mostly common is that when you're told you have a gift, you're being told that you need to go get cleansed and all of these other things, etc., etc., right? It is because now a river, it is a starting point for your rebirth as a person, because it is not only just a cleansing but a spiritual one at that. Remember, you went through life, all these things you've been going through, knowing that you have a gift but haven't really gelled into it. So eventually when you now feel good, let me pick up the pace, you need to first start ngokuthi uyohlanjululwa. Why I say it's important, because now you have spiritual baggages, you have emotional baggages, you have spiritual ties, you have so many things going on with you. Ganti uma uyoqala uyemanzini, it is going to help you, because like I would always tell you ukuthi amanzi impilo, and ekuyisiqalo sayonke into. Rebirth, it is a good thing, so that uma usuqala ulungisa into zakho zedlozi, now there's some form of clarity pattern, because nakhona ukuyohlambulula fana nokuthi uyogonyuluka uyokhipha isifuba sakho, ushweleze, and it's just a beautiful thing, and I honestly advise it for all of us. But now, okay, before I move on, cleansings are important, guys. If you should invest in one at least twice, a year or once a year, but you need to go for cleansings, because as spiritual people, we need that. We need that for ourselves. So moving on, one might be coming forth and saying, "Guti Koko, sengihambe zonke inyanga lezi ngagezwa ngeyinkukhu ngayenzwani, ayikho inkukhu engayazi, ngazi inkukhu efahlamelayo, ngazi inkukhu e-green, ngazi inkukhu e-blue, sengize ngaphuza namasiba wayo, and nothing is changing in my life and nothing is making sense, because there is ama-cleansings bogogo or nani bomkhulu awafani. Spiritual cleansings differ from person to person, because sometimes you might find ukuthi before you are cleansed, there needs to be mhlampe that need to be performed in your life, particularly to you. But as umuntu owedlozi, or rather a gifted person, you need to go to izinto analyze it from a mover. Now, one thing is that people take very lightly. Umsamo semagiti ubalulekile, because it is the life gauger of our spirituality. Because mawuhamba uyemanzini, excuse me, noma uyenzani, whatever it is ozoyenza is pertaining to izinto zedlozi, you need ukuthi uphahle. Now, you can understand if ekhaya abalandeleli izinto zamadlozi and you just went out of the green, uyahamba so uyophahla ucela ukuthi amadlozi akho akuhlambulula, it's all fair and well, but eventually, because now ekhaya mhlampe bekungahlabiwa all along these years, uyahamba uyogezwa emanzini, uyohlabela inkukhu. Sometimes kwamanye amadlozi kuba inkinga. Kuhle sometimes ukwazisisa ngomsamo yabantu, because not everyone requires not everyone. Some people just need natural, like water, because asifani singabantu sineyinkinga ezingafani, because amanye amadlozi azokutshela ukuthi thina sisetshenziswele imithi, amanye amadlozi akutshela ukuthi thina sihlabela inkukhu enjena, amanye amadlozi azokutshela this. So sometimes it's not a matter of just stepping up and getting a cleansing, but it's good to have a spiritual x-ray so that you know at least what it is that is going on with you. Because ezinye izinto you might find ukuthi ekhaya azange balandelele izinto zamadlozi kwangabi nomuntu othosayo that is stepping forth and uthatha isikhwama. And now what happens? Uma sesifika kuwe, imagine the entourage that is behind you. Il-streamline lesabogogo abalinde ukuthi bawelise, because you should regard yourself as honored, and as an honor, because now it's not good to your twasa bonke labogogo laba, but now you are taking forth this generational gift that has been in the family. And ukusabela kwakho ubizo, it will be a huge thing emadlozini. That is why you find ukuthi abanye abantu uma bevuma ubizo, onenza umsebenzi ukuthi ngivuma ubizo, izinto zakho zihlangahlangana mess, or rather izinto that don't make any sense, because sometimes it is good ukulandela history yokuthi wazi ukuthi idlozi lami kwenzakalani ngale, idlozi lami ubani. Should you know ukuthi idlozi lakho ubani and you identify ekhaya, be it wazi sibongo, be it wazi ngokuzwa, you go nihambe nizama ukuthi nithole ithuna lakhe ugogo loyo noma umkhulu, bese uyahamba uyophahla kuyo, uyombikela umuntu omdala ukuthi ubizo lakho ngilizwile khehla, ngilizwile gogo, sengilungele manje ukuthi ngathatha intambo ezendlela ukuthi ngenze umsebenzi wakho. Bese uyaqala ke, you seek that spiritual guidance, that spiritual help, and etc. Now what people battle with mostly is, what is my gift? And what am I supposed to do? And idlozi lami alingibonisi ukuthi ngiphi or angisaphuphi, and etc. When you're having a conversation with friends, eventually nizothula, because that is even how idlozi will not be talking to you every single day or every single minute of your life, but lizokhuluma nawe when there's something important to speak about, because sometimes it has given you enough messages to last you for this period where you are in or whatever you are facing at that current moment, right? So someone might ask ukuthi, what is my gift, right? You must note something ukuthi into nento elethwa idlozi empilweni yakho kuyimfihlo mntana wedlozi, and what idlozi lakho wants or how it wants you to work kusuke kuyimfihlo nakhona. That is why uma nina kuba nabantu abathi idlozi lami lingikhombi ukuthi ngephi or idlozi lami, I say ukuthi spirituality has evolved and we are in a new age spiritually, right? And the amadlozi are very liberal when it comes to izinto manje, where else it is no longer just ukuthi umuntu omnyama the only type of work you do. Because I used to take a typical example, zingayikho izangoma namhlanje ezisebenzayo kodwa they don't work like your typical sangoma, because izipho zethu azifani, but because the rite of passage kwakudala, and once kwaba nomuntu ekhaya owadla intwaso, automatically kuyachubeka lokho from generation to generation, kuzohluka kuphela ngemisebenzi. So because spiritual education was not really that something ekhona mandulo, you would honestly see ukuthi you are able ukuthi uvuke idlozi, you are able ukuthi ubhodle, no wena uyisangoma, or one of the other things, because ukubhodla and all these other things do not say ukuthi umake register and automatically you tick the register of kuba isangoma. There's a lot of things that go on in our body, and what we feel and our response to energies, that is a sign of the spiritual gifts in our lives, right? So I don't want you to sit there and feel guti idlozi lakho is not pointing you anyway. The problem with people that they make, you're being told ukuthi isangoma, and all of a sudden so yalandelela izinto zobungoma and whatnot, to only find ukuthi idlozi lakho alisucceed, idlozi lithule lithi du hambe uyothenga amatawa ayi-5, hambe uyenzani, and you thinking ukuthi I'm preparing myself for uya kubu entweni zobungoma. But it's not necessarily the case. If you do not have patience, leave the spiritual things to people that have patience, because into nento inesikhathi sayo, and imsebenzi yokulapha miningi bantu abedlozi ene ayifani, right? The problem is that we have boxed our African spiritual ways ukuthi mangase umporofiti ngiyumthandazeli, mangase umthandazeli ngiyisangoma, and that's just about it. You can be a normal Jane and have a spiritual gift and be able to help people. I always say there's a lot of things good. What if your job is to help people cross over to the afterlife? What if your job is to be able to heal people that are sick with a particular disease? What if your job is ukuthi ukwazi ukunisa imvula? What if your job is for you to be able to assist ukuthi usize abanikazi bama-nutrients? Like, it is a lot. But we are lazy. We just want to sit and have easy number and think we have arrived at the pinnacle. Bangakanani abantu endibaziyo bathwasile but bazokutshela ukuthi bebandlulisa amadlozi. Awale sebondlulisa lapho ulise Shoprite. But Christmas, because you can't suffer and then usibondlulisa and then ubuye uzohlupheka futhi, because even after that, things just make a lot of sense. Because that's why I say sometimes don't fall in the trap of going through a spiritual awakening and think ukuthi unedlozi. Sometimes it's just an awakening, and once you receive an awakening, your third eye is open. But to just give people settlement, we are all gifted. Uma siza la emhlabeni, that minute you were born, uzisandla sakho sivalile, whether it is a left or a right, and whatever it is oyiphethe kusuke kuyimfihlo yakho, and then you go consult what is igift yami. So now you want idlozi lakho likutshela imfihlo yakho, where else you don't want to do the work of identifying ukuthi imfihlo yakho yini. It is very deep, I tell you. It is not just sitting. It is not just upahla. It is not just amabai. It is going through life and understanding who you are. Because I always say spiritual ways peel off layers, guwe, and they make you understand, or rather get to know and appreciate yourself more. Because whatever it is that you want to do, you're being backed up by thousands. It is not just you. So we are all planted in our different spheres of work. Right now, people are just, I feel through the fatigue of COVID and all these other things, people are becoming lazy and and all these things, and you're using, the scapegoat of guting namadlozi. We've been tired since 2020, but I mean, we understand. It's just like, put the person in the hot pot. If right now you feel ukuthi unesipho, test your gift. Are you able to give someone a reading? Because I always say you cannot teach someone to be a healer. They come to you as a healer. You just mold the gift. It is like I come to you to the seamstress ungithumela ingubo nje kuphela ezizongisiza. That is what an initiation does. So should you feel that I can't do these things, uyoyenzani ekuthwaseni? Uyofunda mase ukuhlola and come back utshela abantu ukuthi baphethe inyawo ngoba bahamba kakhulu, kanti vele mawuhamba ziba buhlungu dali. You understand? It's one of those things that are very important that are there. So I don't wanna frustrate you and ngikwenza ukuthi feel as though spirituality is magic and it's instant flower like that. You need ukuthi ubekezele. Sometimes amadlozi wenu ayathula, they have nothing to say. Ubone ukuthi masuqala uthinta izinto zamadlozi or ungena kakhulu, idlozi lakho we understand that, because you go consult bese wathi unedlozi wena automatically, so yatatazele ngiyoba isangoma or this and this. Because no, the spiritual education, I always say spiritual education is important. I was for one in that box until I sat down with my idlozi, you understand that, in a spiritual sense, and was like, idlozi, teach me and open my mind to understand what it is this is. And I opened my mind to the spiritual life, and that is why I look at spirituality the way kungakhona. So it's not necessarily that sometimes I would sit and tell you to izangoma. It's that sometimes I feel we don't like come from the same level of understanding our spiritual ways. When uzongitshela ngokuthi wadla intwaso bani bani, I mean, I'm gonna sit here and tell you and spiritually educate you, honey. It is like that. So it's not necessarily that I feel that, but it's what we need as African people. Yes, it's ngafunda ngemithi all we want. Yes, it's ngafunda, but what happens now to the whole nation becoming izangoma? Then what happens? Like, what happens to that? Why don't we equip people enough to go and delve deeper and assist them in understanding our spiritual ways? I was arguing with my friend the other day that go like when it comes to using dozomatasism, I was like, I don't think I want that for myself. Yes, I do run programs of spiritually mentoring people, but I don't think I want to be ugobela, in that sense. It's not that I don't want to, but it's not in my spiritual, vision. It's not in my spiritual understanding of this is what spirituality is. I don't want to come here train someone of something that was, spirituality has evolved. Imagine the world stood still for a whole damn year for us to receive our awakenings, and we still want to go through things and think it's just another basic things. I don't want to sit and train someone to be something. I want people to go deeper into their spiritual selves. I want them to love their gifts enough to understand that I am spiritually independent with or without umpobadimu. It is what it is. I just feel that I love izinto zedlozi so much that I don't want you to, every time awucabanga idlozi, to think sangoma. Amadlozi wethu have so much power. Imagine amadlozi wethu, imagine our ancestors, gave us the privilege ukuthi sikwazi uma sifuna ukucheck izinto zethu zokomoya, or rather zedlozi, whatever you want to call it, the ability to do so. Yasitshalela abantu abanezipho zamadlozi ukuthi nabo bazindlulisele ngaphambili lezi mfihlo lezi ezethu abantu amnyama ukuthi sihlole impilo yethu so that we can align ourselves, because we are here for the greater good of this earth. We are here to keep it moving, because when you look at everything, with science and everything, we have the laws of gravity, we have all these other things going on. What is keeping this thing going? It is us. As a people, as humans, we are powerful sources of energy. And if we use the powers inside us, imagine the telepathy, imagine the endless possibilities we could be going through. We would reach a point whereby you would not necessarily need a consultation anymore, because you'd be able to communicate with your spiritual izinto like that. But now we want so much lezinto zedlozi, but siyasaba at the same time. Don't be afraid of growth. Don't be afraid to step forth into the light and identify who you are spiritually. And don't be ashamed of who you are. Remember, indlela zethu zedlozi azifani. What happened to me might not necessarily happen to you. If you're watching this video unesipho, it does not matter what it is. We sangoma, whatever you are. Know that you are destined for greatness. And whatever it is, embrace it and go through it as that. Because alikho idlozi eli-useless, as far as I say. As much as uhambile, that honor ukuthi uyophethe izinto zakho zedlozi, think of the entourage behind you. Labo goga balilizelayo abathwele impuphu namawine, being happy for you ukuthi finally kube nomuntu ozanga ngasabe azangafane nathi wathatha umthwalo wethu owedlozi. Bheka namhlanje umntwana usiprove wrong waqeda into zakhe, thatha into zakho man baby girl. That it's it is beautiful, I tell you. So sometimes it is so bad that in our families, imsamiyethi iphukile imoshekile, and it binds us moving forward spiritually, because uzohamba ubuye, and umsamo ubalulekile. It is one of those things that are there that play a vital role. But now what happens if ekhaya akuhlaba uyabuya mele udla intwaso, uthola ukuthi mhlawumbe izinto seziyabheda phambili, you understand, utshela ukuthi mina ngihambile ngayo thwasa gogo, but nothing is making sense, because and two, what is the ancestral health ifile yenu yedlozi ithini kini? Bese basilandelela izinto samanje nobe basalandeleli, because you approach things differently to accommodate a person's spiritual growth ukuze naye azokwazi ukuthi akhule. I'm not trying to redefine, but I'm trying to make you understand and redirect your perspective to endless possibilities. I'm not here to teach you to be isangoma. I'm not here to teach you about ukuba umprofit. I am here to teach you to be the best version of yourself. It does not matter what that is. You may be planted emsebenzini wakho, and through you people are getting jobs. Ugu HR department, honey, that is your gift. Like, sit the down, for for one moment, you know, because like everywhere, it gets tiring. That is why I'm even left with one hand of beats, because I don't know. I think my roses are getting so bored that they're like, baby girl, you need to stop looking like the messes. Because now everyone just takes you as though you part of the gravy train or you part of the joke, and it's not necessarily the case. But don't worry much, you know. I'm here for that. Being the advocate is exactly that, and whatever the cost might be, I will try give you and make your journey just a little bit lighter. But thank you so much for coming through and viewing my video. I'll be back again, finally closing this chapter, because we are going into a new month and we need to dig deep on new things and on new topics. But we still, don't take away those notebooks, whatever the case might be. So I know I still owe you a life, and it is definitely coming, my lovely YouTube people. Don't worry, I got you. But other than that, I am Pabadimu, the advocate of Ilos. The advocate of Ilos. Like, oh my Ilos, what just happened right there? Okay. Other than that, thank you so much for choosing to view my video. I am Pabadimu, the advocate of Ilozi, and I am signing out. I will definitely see you later. Thokozani.